All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing the Isabelle Hall of Heroes. We're going to be autoing from stage 1 to stage 10. And again, we're going to speed it up a little bit so that you don't have to watch every second of every video. So I always start off with the fastest clear teams I can. And this is my 5 twin Necro team. Actually, I think it's the 5 twin Necro team, except I've got the Maruna in instead of the extra blue something. I don't know. I've got 2 of the blue ones built, the blue boomerangs. So they just, kind of wreck through B1. And we're just going to keep rolling from there. Last month with the Chakram, I decided to use 10,000 guild points to get 5 extra Chakrams. The question was, is it a viable thing to do this time as well? And for me, it wasn't. I already had, I think, 14 assassins in storage, and all 5 from the light assassin Hall of Heroes. So I'm good on assassins. I can build a fully skilled Isabelle, which is, what I want to do. So that's the plan. Now, looking at her as a unit, I want to talk about her just a little bit. My Amazon package arrived. She, I think, is a real gift from Comp to Us for a variety of reasons. She brings a lot to the table that other units don't, and she kind of allows different teams that would be not really possible with a different unit. So let's talk about her just a little bit. Her skill 1 is a defense break with a 50% chance. When skilled up, it's up to a 75% chance. 2-turn defense break, 75% chance. I mean, that's about as good as it gets other than having 100% defense break. And on skill 1, that's pretty rare. I mean, we're talking about like Nat 5 Pandas, Bella for some reason. Not too many monsters. So, 75% chance, pretty good. You can't really count on it as your main defense breaker, but it's nice to have as a secondary defense breaker or it'll probably land maybe type defense breaker. So that's her skill 1. Skill 2 and skill 3 combined is what really make her just fantastic. So the capture opportunity, I think, is what she brings to the table that a lot of other units just can't. She's going to buff her attack and crit rate for 2 turns and get another turn. So you don't have to build her with 30% extra crit rate because she will buff it up to 100 if you build her at 70, which is fantastic. And then also you don't have to bring an attack buffer, which, I mean, I guess you guys know that, but most single target nukers, you're going to need an attack buffer. You're going to need to build them with more crit than you need to build her, which that's a fantastic skill. I think if it didn't give you another turn, it wouldn't be that good because you have to wait. It would cost you tempo. But the fact that as soon as she's good to go, she's attack buff, she's crit buffed. That's super, super, super great. So that's what I really like about her. It has a 5-turn cooldown, but with skill ups, it is only a 3-turn cooldown. So there'll be 1 turn of every 3 that she'll not have that buff up. So, plan on defense breaking one of those turns and then hopefully get back to her skill 3. All right, let's talk about skill 3, Endless Death. Deals damage to an enemy and recovers a turn if the enemy dies, which is really, really cool. Most of the time, she's going to kill something and the enemy is going to die. We're going to pop this up to 3x speed, see if that goes a little quicker. The interaction's a little strange, and I think the wording is a little confusing because then it says if an enemy or ally dies when this skill is on cooldown, Endless Death will instantly be reusable again. To me, in first read, okay, so I died there. So as soon as here, I'll slow it down. As soon as you die on Hall of Heroes, or at least for me, as soon as my speed team dies, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to my secondary speed team that's a little safer. So for this one, we're bringing in the Varad, which is safety, the Bastet, which is safety, and the Perna, which is safety. And then we're going to go with just 2 twins. So that's the little adjustment for B6, and we'll kind of go from there. So going back to Endless Death, it kind of reads as it will be instantly reusable when the enemy dies, and it's like, well, you recover a turn if the enemy dies. That's 2 things that happen when the enemy dies. Shouldn't I get to use Endless Death again? I mean, it's called Endless Death, but that's not the case. It doesn't check for Endless Death being reusable again until after Endless Death is used, I guess. So you won't get to use it again right away. It'll be, I guess, ready to go after something else dies. I don't know. I've kind of been watching some videos on it, and it's on cooldown is the long story short. You get another turn, but Endless Death is on cooldown. If something dies after that extra turn, then I think you're good to go. So I don't know, kind of interesting the way that works. So I think the best part of Endless Death is just you kill something, you get another turn. And that's where the defense break on skill 1 comes into play. You kill something, you defense break something else. You set up the next kill. So I think that's really cool. So there's B6 down. I've seen some comparisons to her and the Dark Ninetales, I guess, the Fox. People saying, she has more control, the Fox, which is true, and this one is just a single target nuker, but there's not a lot of single target nukers that do what this unit does. The fact that she awakens into crit and has a speed over 100, it's 102 awakened speed, 30% crit awakened, is just fantastic. I mean, you're going to be able to, this unlocks so many builds for her and frankly, different teams for her as well, which is really, really great. So to get her up to 100% crit, you only have to get her to 70, which means you only need 40% more crit on your runes to go from 30 to 70. By only needing 40% versus 70% that most units would need, you're freeing up stats for attack, for crit damage, for HP, for accuracy, for all these different things. So you can kind of tilt her in the direction that you need her. So what is the plan here? What is my plan? I'm planning to build mine, and I'm planning to build it fairly quickly because it'll unlock some really interesting teams. I'm planning to build mine. I'm going to see how much damage I need to kill the units I generally need to kill. So Kamoons, Riteshas, things that need to be dealt with in one turn with a massive amount of damage. I'm going to kind of figure out how much that is. Probably around 50, 55k in Guild Wars, something like that. So I'm going to tune her to do about that much damage. She's going to be at 70% crit. And then once I figure out exactly how much that needs, and I'll probably go into this in another video. So we died again, B7. So now we're going to the super safe team. Actually, I'll speed it up while I'm selecting because it's sometimes hard to find units. I'm thinking Okeanos and Eladriel, so I get a heal and revive. And then I'm like, nah, let's do F. F is a little more aggressive, and she has CC as well. So that's where we're at here. Oh, 4x. Let's go 3x. So that's my plan. I'm going to build her as hitting hard enough to kill anything. Once I achieve that stat with attack and crit damage, then I'm going to scale back and build her for sustainability, a little bit of tankiness, a little bit of HP, a little bit of defense, maybe some accuracy, because I don't think you need to build her max damage. I mean, you can, but sometimes with my Teor, I hit for like 85,000, and that's unnecessary, right? That's wasted stats in damage, unless you just want to see her do an insane amount of damage. Her one weakness, I would say, she's a little bit squishy, and you want to compensate with that in your build. So my plan is to find that sweet spot of damage for her, and then fill in the rest of her stat allotment with HP, defense, and accuracy. So that's kind of my plan. So it might be Rage. I think Swift is not a bad idea. There's not a lot of Swift monsters that don't want speed on 2, and I don't think she wants speed on 2. Her skills don't scale on speed. So there's an opportunity there to use one of those attack slot 2 Swift runes. And then the Swift, maybe you'll get her up to where I need her speed-wise. I think you can build her slow, but then you got to protect her a little bit longer. Like, if you can get to use her turn 1 going before the enemy team, I think that's ideal. You don't have to protect her, which is basically giving her an infinite amount of HP, because if she kills something turn 1, you don't have to deal with that thing retaliating. So, you could build her, 100, 115, super slow. I intend to build her at a minimum 150. I'm hoping to be able to get to the damage I need around 200 plus. So that's kind of my plan. I'm really excited about her. I'm going to be able to bench some of my attack bar buffers, or attack buffers, which in Siege, there's only so many. I use my Bastet, and then my options become like Colleen and Chasoon, or going in without an attack boost, which is sort of unfortunate. So I'm really looking forward to having teams that don't rely on that attack boost. I think in terms of the team I've kind of thought about the most and I'm most excited about, I want to run Gemini lead, which I think I've seen a lot about Gemini lead with her, because he does 2 things that she needs. He does buff removal and he does defense break. The only setup she really needs is a defense break, and Gemini gives you the best chance because he's applying it to 3 different units. In theory, if he misses a strip on 1, that's okay. She only needs to kill 1, so she'll take whatever is defense broken and stripped by him. So I'm thinking Gemini, Isabelle. And then for the third, it's so awesome. You don't have to bring Megan or Bastet or anything like that. You can bring whatever you want. So my thought there, the first unit that came to mind was Ganymede, because then I can reset a Theo before she moves, which is then a dead Theo. I only have so many Theo killing teams, so it'll be nice to introduce something new. I can reset, a Triana or some sort of death prevention mechanic, reset their heal, that sort of thing, and reduce their attack bar, which is helpful for Isabelle, keeps her alive longer. So I'm thinking Gemini, Isabelle, Ganymede is really standing out to me. The other benefit of Ganymede is, you can reset her after she's done Endless Death if you don't get another kill. So in theory, it would go Gemini goes, then Ganymede goes, reset something, then Isabelle goes, kill something. Then Gemini goes, then Isabelle goes, and then Ganymede goes, resets Isabelle, and Isabelle goes again. So in theory, you just machine gun Isabelle. So that's kind of the team I've been thinking about the most. I think you could put her with an immunity monster if you weren't so worried about, needing to reset or whatever. You could do Chloe, something like that. So you could do, have the Gemini go, clear everything off. Then Chloe would have to buff, so the Gemini doesn't have buffs on him. And then she kills, she sits in immunity for a little while, she's fine. The other benefit of her is her element neutrality, which is fantastic. There's so many times where I want to bring a damage dealer to a fight, and I can't because the elements don't line up. So she lines up with everybody. It's a slight detraction as well because she is also a target for anyone. But because she's neutral, if you need to, attract a certain DPS away from her, you can bring whatever element it would like to attack in its place. You can bring a Camilla against Sierras. You can bring a Kamoon against water DPS, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the pluses and minuses of her. The fact that she's self-sufficient is fantastic. I think finding the right balance for her in terms of survivability is going to be the biggest challenge. I don't think it's going to be a challenge for anyone to build her damage because she puts out a ton of damage. She'll be able to kill anything squishy easily, but to be able to kill those bruisery monsters easily is going to be a bit more of a challenge. So we're going to slow this down. This is the end of B10. That was the end of our auto. Kind of stayed with a semi-aggressive team with the Perna and the Ethna, which is always nice. Not a terribly difficult Hall of Heroes if you can go first and control the waves. If those waves get loose, they are self-sufficient, so that can be a bit of a problem, especially when they're defense breaking and then buffing up and nuking you down. So that is the Isabelle Hall of Heroes. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope everyone's looking forward to enjoying their Isabelles. Come to us. Very generous. Very, very generous. I appreciate it. This is probably one of my best LD pulls, and I didn't pull it. It was a gift. So good luck this weekend, everybody, clearing them. If you have a Vrad rep, I would highly suggest switching to that Vrad rep. I know I'll be doing that, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, everybody.